The train's whistle sliced through the night, a cold scream over Willow Creek's forgotten tracks. Gravel crunched under Officer Daniel Carter's boots as he shoved Lena Harper to the ground, her wrists bound with a zip tie. "You've been asking too many questions," he growled, his voice low, venomous. The ground trembled as the freight train roared closer, its headlights cutting through the fog. Lena, a black woman in her 40s, didn't flinch. Her eyes locked onto his, calm, unyielding. "You're making a mistake," she said, tugging her collar to reveal a glinting FBI badge. Carter froze, his breath catching. He'd just laid hands on a federal agent and the truth was about to unravel his world. Willow Creek, a Rust Belt town in Ohio, clung to its past like a fading photograph. Old factories spewed less smoke now, but prejudice still hung heavy in the air. Mornings began with the clatter of trains passing brick rowhouses and potholed streets, the town budget never fixed. Folks went to work, nodded on porches, but their smiles never reached their eyes. The police weren't just protectors here, they were the law itself, and that law didn't serve everyone. A black-owned diner on Main Street faced 3 inspections in a week for a supposed whiff of marijuana. A Latino family's corner store got fined for mislabeled snacks. Whispers in the local coffee shop told of a man beaten in jail for not answering fast enough, a woman who vanished after calling for help. No evidence, no complaint, just silence when patrol cars rolled by. At the heart of this stood Daniel Carter, a night shift sergeant with a spotless record and a gaze that made folks look away. Tall, broad-shouldered, his eyes always narrowed, Carter didn't need to shout. His silence and notepad were enough to keep people in line. In precinct meetings, he was Chief Robert Mitchell's right hand. Briefings skipped ethics, focusing on stats and problem neighborhoods. Carter believed order came from strength, not softness. Anyone who didn't fit, whether a kid in a hoodie, a black woman visiting family, or an FBI agent poking around, needed to know whose town this was. Lena Harper arrived on a crisp Monday, her unmarked sedan parked outside the sagging town hall. No escort, no fanfare, just a black woman in a sharp blazer, her gaze steady enough to make onlookers pause. A federal agent trained in civil rights investigations, Lena had tackled tough cases across the Midwest. Willow Creek's file was thick but vague, complaints withdrawn, witnesses forgetful. Something was wrong, and she was here to find it. At her temporary office, she sifted through reports, nodding to the local clerk without small talk. She was used to standing out. A black woman in a conservative town wasn't common, but it never stopped her. That afternoon, Lena visited the East Side, where 2 teens had been detained without cause. She found officers, Carter among them, pinning a 16-year-old black boy against a wall, grilling him about a stolen bike. The boy stammered, "It's my cousin's," but they didn't listen, rummaging through his pockets. Lena stepped forward. "Is this search warranted?" she asked, voice clear. Carter turned, eyes narrowing. "Who are you? Some lawyer?" Lena didn't blink. "This boy's underage. No guardian. No warrant. Your questions are illegal." Carter's jaw tightened, but her gaze held firm. After a tense moment, he signaled his men to back off. The boy was released, but Carter's parting glare promised trouble. Lena's next move was the coffee shop, a hub for hushed truths. There, she met Sarah Thompson, a local reporter who'd written about unexplained arrests. Sarah slid her a worn folder, grainy photos, handwritten notes, a list of dropped complaints. "No one talks," Sarah whispered. "They know the system won't protect them." Lena flipped through, pausing at a blurry image of a black man cuffed, head bowed. She'd seen this pattern before, different town, same script. "No body cams?" Lena asked. Sarah shook her head. "They malfunction." An unspoken pact formed. Sarah had the stories, Lena had the authority. Together, they'd crack the silence. At the police station, Lena requested 18 months of arrest records. The receptionist stalled, the server was down. Reports, when she got them, were 2 Cliano errors, no contradictions. A file on a young black man with a broken arm read, "self-inflicted injury during restraint." No medical report backed it. In the hallway, Carter's stare said she'd overstayed her welcome. That night, Chief Mitchell called Carter into his office. "She's trouble," Mitchell said, sliding a file across the desk. "Handle it quietly." Carter nodded, but doubt crept in. Was he protecting order or something darker? The West Side night market, a maze of neon and grilled meat, held secrets. Lena and Sarah circled, watching. An elderly vendor slipped Sarah a note. "They only check people like me." Lena cross-checked patrol schedules against Sarah's photos, spotting Officer James Larson, Carter's loyal deputy, at the market during off hours. Cases stolen goods, missing people tied to Larson's shifts vanished up the chain. Lena's map of red dots formed a circle of control, with Mitchell at its core. If Larson's the gatekeeper, Sarah said, who's the key? Lena marked a question mark over Carter's name. Carter watched Lena's SUV from the station balcony, his cigarette unlit. She was too calm, too deep. Limit your work, he warned her in the hall. This town has its ways. Lena's reply was sharp. What's operating is wrong. Later, a note slipped under her door. You don't know who you're messing with. An SUV tailed her, vanishing after erratic loops. At the station, she found Larson accessing records off hours. They weren't just pushing her out, they were setting a trap. One dusk, Carter pulled Lena over on a quiet road. Administrative check, he said, rifling her trunk without cause. You're surveilling me, he accused. Lena's question stung. So you admit there are separate laws here? His fist clenched, but her calm unnerved him. In a reckless moment, he cuffed her, drove to the old tracks, and tied her to the rails. A lesson, he sneered. As the train roared near, Lena revealed her badge. Panic at Carter. He cut her free, tumbling with her into the ditch as the train screamed past. Both sat, breathless. Carter's eyes betrayed a crack, not just fear, but doubt in the system he'd served. Lena, bloody but unbroken, walked back to town, her phone shattered, her radio dead. At a pharmacy, she bandaged her wounds, bought a notebook, and wrote every detail: Carter's rage, the train's whistle, the badge's glint. In a cheap motel, she planned her next move. Rumors spread fast. A train's emergency brake report reached Mitchell's desk, triggering a closed-door meeting. You lost control, Mitchell snapped at Carter. She's a Fed. Carter was detained, but Mitchell rallied loyalists, including Larson, to monitor Lena. If she sent a report, find her devices, Mitchell ordered. If not, make sure she doesn't. Sarah's home was watched, her car vandalized, and her shoulder injured in an ambush. In the hospital, she handed Lena an envelope. If I don't make it, use this. Lena met a whistleblower, Tom Reed, a former cop. He gave her a USB with meeting logs and erased body cam footage. They're not scared you're FBI, he said. They're scared you won't quit. Lena and Sarah pored over Reed's data, finding Mitchell's secret meetings with regional captains. A leaked file showed Larson's shifts tied to market disappearances, edited by Mitchell's IP. FBI agents stormed the camp, finding Lena alive. 2 kidnappers were caught. One escaped, leaving a map of her routines. The FBI launched a deep probe into Willow Creek's police. Lena, Sarah, and lawyer Emily Chin built a case, linking Mitchell's IP to deleted files. Hans testified, revealing a secret archive. Reed's audio of Mitchell planning cover-ups played at the hearing, silencing the room. Mitchell's defense doubting Lena's motives, smearing Sarah crumbled. His own words damned him. Mitchell and his lieutenants were arrested in a swift dawn raid. The court placed Willow Creek under federal oversight, mandating body cams and a civilian board. The townsfolk out churches and barbershops hosted sharing sessions. Over 300 cases reopened. Carter volunteered at a victim center, rewriting aid forms, listening to stories he'd once ignored. A child's question, "Are you a cop?" met his quiet reply, "I help people now." Lena left for another case, leaving a note, "Truth doesn't walk alone." Sarah's articles became textbooks. Emily's legal office aided the voiceless. Willow Creek didn't heal fully, but fear no longer ruled. Justice came not in verdicts but in small acts: a filed lawsuit, a neighbor's camera, a nod to a stranger's pain. This isn't just a story, it's a mirror. Have you faced injustice or seen power silence truth? Share your thoughts below. Do you believe one person can break a corrupt system, or does change demand a community? Take a stand, voice your view. Let's talk about violence and fairness in our world.